Well, folks, day 2 of the Shutdown Shenanigans. The stake starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Stakes. I'm Tara Setmayer. This is the Michelle Kinney. We are the co-founders of the Seneca Project, and we are back together. Michelle was off last week working, and you know what a difference a week makes. Again, we're in a shutdown. We're in a shutdown.
You know what I was thinking? I was like, oh, James Comey was indicted. When was that?
I know. I felt like 5 months ago. 5 months ago.
Seriously.
I know. I was thinking that as I was looking at our list of assets today.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute. That was last Friday.
Last Friday. It hasn't even been a month since Charlie Kirk was assassinated.
I know.
Not even a month. It feels like it's been much longer than that.
I know. It feels like it's been 6 years, and it was like 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fast and furious pace, which again, what do I always call it? The fire hose of fuckery, that they do this on purpose. There's an onslaught to wear us down. But
they're doing a good job.
I know. It's like, you know,
I will admit that. I'm not going to pretend they're not, because
I mean, some days, sometimes you're just like, oh my God, what else?
Right.
But we have introduced a new segment to the show. We will be ending the show on a bright spot, because we cannot have all the doom and gloom constantly all the time.
No.
So stay tuned for this week's bright spot. And if you guys want to, in the chat as the show is going on, you want to put in what your bright spots are, please share them. Please share them amongst yourselves. We will see them. If we see a good one, we'll put it up there if we catch it. But we've got to start finding joy, even if it's the littlest things.
Have to. And that's where, like, taking one day at a time is actually so important. And it's one of those phrases that I sometimes roll my eyes at, because I'm like, yeah, whatever. But it's true, because you get up in the morning. What do you have control over? Okay. What do you have control over? You get up, you make your bed. You feel good about that, right? You make yourself some breakfast. You have something healthy, or maybe not so healthy. Maybe it just makes you feel good. Pour your coffee. Like, the choices we make throughout the day, right? And the people that we surround ourselves with is what is going to sustain us through this entire fight that unfortunately is going to get worse before it gets better. And that's why even tonight, I'm waiting for the Yankees to start. If you haven't noticed, I have my Yankees headband on. I have my Yankee sweatshirt on. My rule, only one piece of flair, but it's the playoffs. So
it's the playoffs. And it's against Boston. So
exactly.
Yankee it out. I mean, I'm still mad at them for the Charlie Kirk shit, but it's the Yankees. Come on, we can't stay mad at them. Yeah, it's hard. And my Giants finally won a game.
Oh, good.
Giants finally won a game last Sunday with our rookie quarterback Jackson Dart, and you know, there was a little glimmer of hope. We'll
take what we can get.
We'll take it. We lost like the last 15 to 16 games. We'll take the win. We'll take the win. Jesus. Well, what's not winning right now is this government shutdown nonsense, because it is not the Democrats' fault. I will say this again. The shutdown is 100% on Republicans. They control everything. Everything from the White House to the courthouse. They control everything. They are in control. The Democrats are not the majority. The Republicans are. I don't know in any other scenario where the person in charge, the people who actually run stuff, aren't blamed for when stuff stops working. When they choose to stop letting the things work, it's on them. So I'm so sick and tired of even the media falling down this trap as if this is like a normal shutdown. It's not. And shutdowns should never be normal, but they become normal because of how often they've happened.
I'm like, I feel like these happen all the time now.
Well, they didn't happen under Joe Biden. There was no government shutdown during Joe Biden's 4 years.
It's almost like 40 years in the Senate, like, was good for him in order to, like, talk to people. Because even like the old timers, even if they didn't like Joe Biden, they would talk to him because of the history they had together.
There was a mutual respect because the disagreements were not on a personal, visceral level the way they are now, because these MAGAs are the worst people ever. And their children. They are cruel and incompetent, and they get off on the chaos.
I feel like I'm that, just really quick, sorry. I'm that dad on the TV with the little kid coming in, but it's all my cats. They just open the door. Out.
Oh, that's okay. We love the kitties. While you handle that, I'll finish my point.
Yeah, sorry. It was chaos in here for a second.
The difference is that they actually respected each other on a personal level. Maggots don't do that now. So that's why it makes it difficult to negotiate with people who aren't good faith actors.
Right.
And I made the point today about this on MSNBC, which I think is an important point because it speaks to the Democrats' messaging on this. And I'm glad to see them holding firm. I'm glad. Unfortunately, Chuck Schumer giving in back in March has given fodder to the Republicans to say, oh, well, this is the Schumer shutdown because remember last time he was all against the shutdown. This time it's okay. Yeah, well, things are a little different this time.
Well, things are dire for sure.
Yes. Well, not only that,
in a bigger way, which is like, you know.
It's worse than that. They are, yes, they're way more dire now than they were 6 months ago. We didn't have troops in the street, and we didn't have Donald Trump telling our Secretary of Defense to unleash troops into the streets, the American cities as proving grounds. So we're going to talk about that later. But the difference also is that they did something called rescissions. Now, I spent 7 years on Capitol Hill. Been through many government almost shutdowns. I think we had one shutdown there. I was around for one of the first shutdowns in a long time when I was an intern on the Senate side in 1995 when Newt Gingrich started this shit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
At the middle school dance, and you were like doing grown shit.
Yeah, I was a grown up sort of. Yes, in 1995, I was working for a senator from Idaho.
I love it.
Briefing him on FBI testimony and the Ruby Ridge hearings and all that white supremacy stuff. Yeah, where I first started to get into rules of engagement and understanding how questioning went in Senate oversight hearings and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, so anyway. But the difference here is that when Chuck Schumer thought he was doing the right thing by compromising because he thought, okay, if we let the government shut down, it's going to be worse. Let's just do this. He thought it was in good faith. Well, what the Republicans did was give him a big FU, and they did not abide by the agreements. Once you pass a CR, once you pass a budget or whatever, I can't think of a time in recent history where the ruling party majority party decided to go back and say, yeah, we're going to claw back all that money. We don't like those programs anymore, even though Congress bipartisanly passed these appropriation bills. We're taking that money away. That they codified the Doge cuts because originally people were like, you can't do this. This isn't constitutional. It's against Congress appropriated these programs. They already approved and these funds. You can't just go and cut these programs. So they said, yeah, you're right. So you know what we're going to do? We will do it legislatively. And the Republicans went back and did that. And they clawed back like $9 billion with all kinds of different things. And that's how they kept the USAID cuts permanent and all these things that they were being sued over. So this time it's different. And I said on MSNBC, the Republicans are not good faith negotiators. You cannot go into this thinking you're going to get a policy win when they are just stringing you along. You need to put it back in their faces and say, listen, you guys are in charge. We are not. You're not even here. We are. You are doing the bidding of Donald Trump. Did you ever have any intention on not shutting the government down? Because we have a lot of evidence to show that this was the plan all along. This was the plan all along. They are trotting out Russell Vought, who is one of the major architects of Project 2025, who we at the Seneca Project last year pointed out about the dangers of Project 2025. They told us what they were going to do here. They told us. And so no one wanted to listen. We tried to tell them. People didn't want to listen. Donald Trump said, I don't know. Okay. Russell Vought is the architect of all of this. It's a guy who said that he wanted to inflict pain on the federal government workers. That's right. Trauma. He's getting off on this. And this is his opportunity to do it.
I have a clip of him saying this. I think this is back in 2024.
We want the bureaucrats to be traumatically affected. We want, when they wake up in the morning, we want them to not want to go to work because they are increasingly viewed as the villains. We want their funding to be shut down so that the EPA can't do all of the rules against our energy industry because they have no bandwidth financially to do so. We want to put them in trauma.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a normal, well-adjusted approach to governing, that you want to inflict trauma on career bureaucrats who have dedicated their life to serve our country in areas of expertise so that our government runs well. Look, I'm not going to say that there aren't bloated areas of the federal government or that the bureaucracy is out of hand, maybe in some random agency somewhere, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. They're talking about fundamentally decimating the federal government. And Trump posted it, whatever the hell, out that Democrat agencies, this is all about targeting their political enemies, and they're using this shutdown excuse to do it. Blaming Democrats is all about a PR stunt. I'm telling you, they never wanted to negotiate in the first place. They wanted this shutdown to happen so they could mass fire these people.
Yep. And Kamala Harris tweeted the Truth Social post. She said, "This was always the plan. Project 2025 was Donald Trump's blueprint to seize unchecked power within the federal government and restrict Americans' freedoms. And he is implementing it right in front of our eyes." And the Truth Social post that he wrote says, "I have a meeting today with Russ Vought, the Project 2025
He of Project 2025 fame." What?
I'm like, what? He of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. President GJT.
He told on himself. He told on himself. Like, this is an opportunity. I can't believe.
Damned if we don't. Like, I'm like, I'd rather go down swinging. I'm like, shut it down.
Listen, the polling shows that. I think you have it, that people want the fight. They want the fight. And also polling this morning showed that most people blame the Republicans for this, as they should, because the Republicans are in charge.
Yep. And this is a poll here. Washington Post has 47 blame Trump and GOP, 30 blame Dems, 38-27 Marist. New York Times Siena, 26% blame Trump, 19 Dems. Morning Consult, 45% blame GOP, 32% blame Dems. And Brian Schatz of Hawaii says, "If you find this surprising, please consider the possibility that you have DC brain and should talk to your high school friends more often," which I would agree about that across the board, as painful as it often is to talk to people who I went to high school with.
Not me.
Well, I mean, I'm from rural America, where people really are, it's pretty bad. But, you know,
I mean, I have lost some friends. Like, I had to purge my Facebook page a little bit since our reunion, our 20-year reunion in 2013. We didn't do a 30-year reunion, but that was more because of post-COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a couple people had to go. Sorry, guys. Even though we played kickball when we were in 5th grade, if you're a MAGA,
I mean,
I don't have time for you.
I really liked, or have gone to the crazy place. Like, it started in the pandemic, and that was kind of the rabbit hole that a lot of people went down. But like, I mean, if people are surprised that blaming the Republicans is not a higher percentage, I mean, I think that that's the explanation, is because the message is not getting out.
It's not.
And I want to play this clip from the weeknight with Michael Steele. He's talking to Democratic Congressman, I believe from Texas.
Oh, yes.
Greg, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Greg Cesar.
Yeah, and Jasmine Crockett's at the table as well. But
watch her body language in this clip.
Oh, I know. She's probably like,
oh, I know. She's like,
Steele, per usual, he's got it right. And the Democrat here, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but holy shit. Here we go.
Very different. And the reality of it is, I got up this morning, and for about 5 hours, the only voice I heard and the only pictures I saw were Republican leadership on the balcony, doing press conferences, delivering a message. The Democrats didn't officially get in the game until 2 p.m. And here's the problem. Messaging requires impact immediately. You cannot wait in a moment like this to have it defined 4 hours, 5 hours after the leadership that is lying to the country, all right? They're lying to the country about the fact that the Democrats have proposed a bill that does what? Gives health care to who? Illegal.
Oh yeah, they're always going to blame an immigrant, right? That's what they're always
But it works, Congressman. That's
He's
why
right.
they do it.
That's why they do it.
And so what is the repost? What is the counteraction from Democratic members and leadership? Why do you allow them to hold such strong, I guess, grip on the American psyche when it comes to these types of issues?
I think we have to not cave to it. I think that's the answer, because if we stand strong and we show our real confidence in the truth, right? They're on the flimsiest of lies, which is the lie that Trump always goes to, go blame an immigrant. And if we give in to that, then we are beefing up, we're giving that gas. But if we stay strong and stay strong with the truth, which is our proposal is to keep tens of millions of people on their health care and lower costs, and we stay confident in that, that lie eventually, flimsily, has to fall apart.
I'm bored. Okay. I'm bored already. I have no idea what you're talking about. That was a fastball down the middle. And Michael, my good friend, Michael Steele, trying his best not to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why can't you just get it out? And he gave him a chance. He gave him a chance, and he fell right into the trap. And that trap was to defend, give credence to the ridiculous argument about Democrats want to fund illegal immigrants. He fell into the trap of trying to explain. No, if you're explaining, you're losing. And every time that they keep explaining on the premise of what Republicans are giving you, you're giving credence to the premise. They are lying. I have to give Hakeem Jeffries a little credit, because he's a little fired up this week. And I said, Brooklyn Hakeem has come out, and maybe it's because Donald Trump.
I feel like every time you mention that on TV, it like kind of happens like right after. And I start wondering, you know,
I don't know. They might be listening to me. I'm not sure, because he also tweeted something out where I was like, I literally just said this on MSNBC, but right before he tweeted that. So I don't know. I hope so. I mean, well, I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
But like maybe it's after he was insulted with the sombrero thing. So he took it a little personally. And so now he's fired up.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's crazy town. It is. It is. But the point is that they're finally saying, listen, that's bullshit. Okay. This whole illegal immigration thing that you guys that that's not true. As a matter of fact, when I was in the Oval Office with Donald Trump, that issue came up all of 10 seconds because there were no cameras there for them, because they know that it's bullshit. It's a PR stunt.
And it's a losing issue for them.
Yes. Because what are they going to say? So they're going to be like, well, they say no, and they go, yes, you do. And they go, like, we're like, no, we don't. And it's no, you switch the argument. You say that's a lie, and you know it. But you know what's not a lie? That you guys have shut down the government, which you seem to be perfectly okay with people in your own districts suffering. Like the rural hospitals in your states, your red districts are going to close. You're worried about emergency rooms service? Well, it was your president, Ronald Reagan, in 1986 who signed that law to make sure that everybody had access to emergency care. Right. So apparently, I'm like, so apparently you don't like what Ronald Reagan did. Well, take it up with therapy when you talk about that. You're okay with your farmers in your districts losing their farms because they're not getting their subsidies because of what your president has done, selling this country out to China and everybody else. You apparently are okay with kids dying because they can't get access to the health care that they need because you guys want to give tax credits to billionaires. You know what? You're okay with millions of people losing their healthcare subsidies that many in your districts and probably people in your family have access to healthcare now through the Obamacare exchanges that you guys have been trying to get rid of for 15 years and have never come up with an alternative. You're okay with that.
Of a
And
plan.
right. You guys are okay with that. We aren't. You're okay with abdicating your responsibility, taking your ball and going home because Donald Trump rang the bell for you guys to leave and not do your jobs. We're here as the adults in the room working on behalf of the American people who voted for us and who pay our salaries. We're here ready to go. So when you guys grow up and stop supporting racist memes and lying to the American people about what's going on here, then come talk to us. That's how they should do this every fucking time they're on TV. But they're not. But they're not. How dare they?
A couple people are. AOC is one of them. And I would like to play a clip of her. She was on Chris Hayes last night.
Saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance. That's what's not going to happen. And so if those senators think that we're having a shutdown because of me, they're free to enter my office and negotiate, because what we're not going to do is allow all of millions of people in this country to not be able to afford their insulin and their chemotherapy. So come strike a deal with me if that's what they really think is going on.
Yes. Thank you. I hadn't seen that, but she's not in leadership. And she's not on enough. Because if I see Chuck Schumer one more time, I swear to God.
Well, that, yeah. And and also, a lot of obviously the members of Congress and Senate put out their own little things, and a lot of them are super cringe because they have Gen Z staffers trying to tell them like what's cool and like do this thing, but it's so inauthentic that it like comes across as like weird and cringe. But again, like AOC and Bernie, for like however anyone feels about them, this is so natural. It's so normal. I'm just going to play a little bit of this.
They're New Yorkers.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm just going to play this just for a couple seconds here so that you get the gist.
Everybody, I was walking here in Washington, D.C., and who did I bump into? One of my favorite members of the United States Congress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
And one of my favorite senators.
All right. Anyhow, as everybody knows, we are now in a government shutdown. Republicans are attacking Alexandria, attacking me. Why didn't you vote for this clean CR to keep the government open?
Well, there's nothing clean about it. This is one of the dirtiest tricks that is being pulled on the American people right now. Starting today, October 1st, and throughout the rest of the month, Americans across this country are going to start getting notifications that their insurance premiums are up to doubling. We're talking about...
Say that again.
Your monthly insurance premiums are going to double for millions of people across the country.
So you get the point. Yeah. But this is the way. This is the way. They're really good at it. They're really good at it.
They are, because, well, again, she comes from modest means, right? She didn't grow up going to Ivy League schools and isn't super focus group. She's always been very authentic, and I hate that word is overused, but she is
real.
Starting from starting from embracing and leaning into bartending in college, and talking about I couldn't pay for my own health care. Those kinds of real stories about actual experiences in life resonate with people because it's what everyday folks go through. I'm no different than you, but I'm going to serve, but I want to serve so that your lives are better. I've been there, so I know how to do it. It comes across, and there are a handful of members who are like that, right? Jasmine, we all know, but there's other like members that you don't hear enough about. And this is the problem with the Democrats. They don't put those people forward. I want to see more of Congressman Crow. I want to see more of the Congresswoman from Maine that we had on Rebecca Balance. Yes, right. She is fantastic. I want to see more of the even Madeline Dean. Like did you see her confront?
I have the clip.
Oh, let's play it. Good for her.
Do you want to play, or do you want to until we get to that point?
Well, yeah, we'll save it. We'll save it.
Okay.
Because we'll put a button on, we'll wrap this portion of it up in a second. Yeah, that'll actually be a good way to the next thing. Because there's no way we're not going to talk about that
Oh, yes,
So
yes. But like in terms of like blame, who's to blame in this whole thing? And first of all, they on the government websites on HUD, I think there's been a couple others at this point now too. They've put on the front page of their websites, this is the radical far left Democrats' fault that this isn't accessible right now. They've forced federal workers to put their email signatures.
Without
So when you send an email, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's like the bottom of your email where you put your name and your title and your phone number or whatever, that it says, I'm not in the office right now because of the radical left Democrats. Now, obviously, this is illegal. This is a direct violation of the Hatch Act.
That is correct.
Nothing matters anymore. So, but in his own, it's
imagine if Democrats did this.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine? You know what would happen? Republicans would be marching on Washington. They would be marching on Washington and they'd be holding court on the West Lawn or the East Steps of the Capitol, commanding the cameras every day, calling out how unconstitutional, illegal, radical, destroying democratic norms, all just go down the list. That's what Republicans would be saying every day. Every day. But I just don't understand why Democrats don't get this.
I don't know. And here's Donald Trump in his own words. The first clip is from 2011, the second from 2013 about who's to blame for these shutdowns.
I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed. If there is a shutdown, and it's not going to be a horrible shutdown because, as you know, things will sort of keep
Well, there's a partial shutdown, right?
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together.
Right.
Interesting thing is in 25 years and 50 years and 100 years from now, when the government is, they talk about the government shutdown, they're going to be talking about the president of the United States. Who was the president at that time? They're not going to be talking who the head of the House was, the head of the Senate, who's running things in Washington. They're going to be talking about during the Obama administration. It was a disaster. So guys like Boehner, who is in there working hard, and he's got one of the truly hard jobs of the world, they're not going to be really discussing him. They're going to be discussing one person. So I really think the pressure is on the president, personally, in terms of his own history.
Again, rules for thee, not for me. And Republicans just act dumb and like, well, that was then. But they always go back to who the villain is, and whether people are sick and tired of hearing we don't want a blame game. We just want them to get to work. Negative partisanship is a very strong driver. That's Republicans understood this. Lee Atwater understood this.
Oh, yeah.
Go back 50 years. The tactics of creating a villain and making sure the American people know who to put the blame on for their suffering, whether it's fair or not. It's all in how the political psyche works.
Yep.
And Republicans are way better at this. And so the Democrats still keep thinking, well, if we get in the room and we sit down together and we can work out how many subsidies we can keep and blah, blah. Meanwhile, they're eating the chess pieces. Okay. They're not interested in actually governing. Soon as Democrats get that and understand this is not about governing, and they need to tell the American people, listen, we try. Yep. Here's our plan. This is if you like this, which polling shows that most Americans actually do like the plans, whatever it is, mostly, generally.
Yeah.
Put us back in charge, because when they're in charge, this is what happens to you. This is what happens to you. The Republicans are choosing to make you suffer, to play a political retribution game on behalf of their master. That is what's happening. They're playing with the American economy, with Americans' healthcare, with the safety of our children, with the efficiency of our services, with the safety of our troops. They're playing games so Donald Trump and Russell Vogt can jerk off in a circle jerk to making the bureaucracy traumatized.
Exactly. And back in 2024, when Project 2025 became part of the news cycle, and we were all trying to warn people, just really quick, this is Taraji B. Henson warning people at the BET Awards. If it loads. No. Why?
Even one of the first rapid response videos we put
Yeah,
out
well, it's
after
not
she
loading
did
for
this.
some reason. Yeah, for some reason it's not loading. I don't
Oh,
know
that's
why.
okay.
Boop boop. Yeah, it's like doing the wheel of
The wheel of death.
doom. Yeah.
Well, that's all right. Do you have the other one?
Yeah, here's a montage actually of Donald Trump denying that he knows anything about it. This is what
he said
CNN.
This morning that he said, I have a meeting today with Russ Vogt of Project 2025 fame. Of course, that was the project that Democrats demonized, went after hard in the campaign, saying, look at this. And
it was working.
Very hard on it.
It was working.
Trump, when he was running for the second term, said, well, this Project 2025 thing, I don't really know much about it.
Some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. They are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. Project 2025,
well, we know he doesn't read.
I've said 100 times. I know nothing about it. I had nothing to do.
And today's meeting of Russ Vogt of Project 2025 fame.
Fame. You know, I mean, I think it's another example.
This is where, again, talking about another example. This is an example when I was saying before that the Project 2025 campaign to expose it for the extremism that it represented was working. Because everybody was singing from the same sheet of music, and it was undeniable because it was written down on paper.
They had an entire website where they had training videos, and you could apply. You could apply to be trained to be a federal worker, because like the whole plan was they were going to purge the federal workforce and replace it with loyalists that they had already trained. And like it was
the Schedule F thing. It started with Schedule F, which they were talking about at the end of Trump's first term. And then they developed that into, they rebranded that effort, because no, Schedule F sounds kind of weird, into Project 2025. That sounds like, an academic exercise. Meanwhile, it is the horrific nightmare playbook that we are living through right now, because they are literally ticking off the boxes. And the people who were the authors of Project 2025 are all in government positions of power to execute it. So when Donald Trump said, oh, well, I don't know anything about that, the media said, okay. They never challenged him. They took their foot off the gas instead of saying, I'm sorry, but
exactly.
Looking here at the authors
today, after the Truth Social post, right? And so again, Brian Schatz is honestly one of the only senators who knows how to tweet. And he says, quote, I mean, satirically, I'm sorry for credulously reporting that they are not going to do Project 2025. I will try to do better. Not being just a stenographer going forward is something no one has said today.
He's exactly right.
They never fess up to
they never do. They never do. And it was journalistic malpractice on top of a lot of other things that went on, but they were too busy worrying about Kamala Harris's laugh. Okay. And so it is just infuriating, because we all saw this coming. And there were so many opportunities for the media to put the attention where it should have been, so that the American people fully understood. We also saw the same thing with women's rights and reproductive rights that's outlined in Project 2025. We try to warn women that this is coming. They're coming for reproductive health. They're going to start with birth control. They're coming for IVF. They're coming for mifepristone. They're coming for the miscarriages. I'd often say, if you're bleeding out in a parking lot, it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter. This affects all of us. And Donald Trump said he's not going to have a national abortion ban. Okay, moving on. It's like, but meanwhile, you picked a vice president who wrote the forward. He wrote the fucking forward to the Project 2025 hardcover book version of it.
And he was the number one choice for the Heritage Foundation. Like, they openly spoke about the fact that they wanted JD Vance.
Yes. So it's like, and again, all these people, over 120 people who were authors of this thing, worked in Donald Trump's first administration, or were currently working in some capacity in Trump-adjacent 501c4s, dark money groups, these fake news.
Caroline Leavitt was in the training videos for Project 2025. And I just want to play a clip of her being asked about the layoffs because they're threatening.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's several of clips of her in the last 24 hours saying, well, it'd be a shame if you guys lost all your jobs, right? And blaming this on the Democrats, which is, we all know, is insane. But here's the playbook. Right. Here's her being asked outside the White House.
What's an estimate on the amount of federal workers that the Trump administration wants to fire during the government shutdown? Are we talking hundreds? Are we talking thousands?
Look, it's likely going to be in the thousands. It's a very good question, and that's something that the Office of Management and Budget and the entire team at the White House here, again, is unfortunately having to work on today. These discussions and these conversations, these meetings would not be happening if the Democrats had voted to keep the government.
And then here's Donald Trump in the Oval Office the other day.
With that being said, we can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them. Now,
I mean,
again, telling on himself, telegraphing what their plans are and what their intent was from day one. I cannot emphasize this enough. They didn't just all of a sudden say, like, on a hope and a prayer, thinking, oh my God, if Democrats, if they're not going to work with us, we're going to have to come up with some way to fire all these workers. This has been in the works from day one. They planned on this. They planned on, and they planned on the Democrats caving, but they're like, but you know what? If they don't, we can do this. They are very crafty. These people lie awake at night, like eager to do this. They've been waiting.
They're foaming at the mouth.
Yes, this is their whole fever dream of that they've been, like I said, wet dreams about this for years. And it's true. I used to be around these people in these conferences when they would think about these ideas, when they were just academic exercises. Nobody actually thought they would do it. But here's the counter to that. The Democrats should say, let's be clear here. Republicans are choosing. The president of the United States is choosing to fire people. No one's forcing them to do that.
No.
They are choosing to inflict pain and take people's livelihoods away and make the country less safe, to make the country sicker, poorer, and less informed for their own political gain. This is political extortion. They are threatening people's livelihoods. They're threatening our agencies who keep us safe, that keep our food safe, our skies safe, our troops safe. They are literally choosing to use them as political pawns in an extortion scheme because Democrats are fighting for the American people so they can have health care, healthy food, whatever. You know what I mean? That's the answer. Yeah. Tell people what the fuck these people are doing. I just don't. It's not hard.
It's like that meme where the person's on their bike, riding their bike, and they're like, oh, the Democrat, complaining about stuff that they're doing, and then falls, and it's like, no, the Democrats, because this is what they do. They do it every single time. Here's a clip of JD Vance talking about shutdowns in 2024 and how to get the most out of them.
Why shouldn't we be trying to force this government shutdown fight to get something out of it that's good for the American people? Like, why have a government if it's not a functioning government? And
I mean, again, they always tell us who they are. They always tell us what they're going to do. No one should be surprised about any of this.
No.
That's the thing that gets me, is people. I'm always shocked, right, when it does happen, because there's something shocking about it, jarring when it does actually happen. It's like, someone being ill and then passing away. It's like you're never really ready for it, but you're not surprised that it's happening, right?
Yes.
There's a level of expectation that I think we all knew. And this is why, I mean, I go back sometimes and listen to our conversations from 2024 saying, like, she has to win, or Joe Biden has to win. There's no coming back from this. And there isn't. I mean, I don't mean like the doom and gloom about that. Well, there is a fair amount of doom and gloom there, but it just means things are never going to be the way that they were before. Not ever. Not ever again.
They're not going to go back to the days of yesteryear. That's for sure.
No.
But as long as we are, that kind of leads us into the next topic here, which is what happened in Quantico this week with Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth unnecessarily summoning the entire military top brass from all over the world, again, making us less safe for a vanity project so that they could do a PR stunt and Pete Hegseth could give a Timu TED Talk. And Donald Trump, who looked like shit, by the way.
And sounded like shit.
Oh my God, meandering around and just rambling, incoherent at a lot of times. It was just a disaster. It was embarrassing. But and again, back to the media and the malpractice and the dereliction of duty. They didn't lead. They buried the lead of those things, right? Like they buried the lead about how Donald Trump basically said, we should unleash the military to do training exercises in American cities.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Wait a minute. What was that? What was that you said, Mr. President?
Here's a clip.
And I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
I'm sorry.
Could you imagine? This exercise probably feels like people are tired of hearing it, but it just have to put it in context. Could you imagine if Barack Obama had uttered those words during the Black Lives Matter protests that were going on and said, you know what, maybe we should unleash the military and use these cities where these protests are happening as training for the military who's trained for war on foreign soil.
Urban warfare in the Middle East, for the most part.
Correct. But we're reducing our cities to the same level as Baghdad. Like, there's something so fundamentally wrong with that the fact that every news station and the front page of every newspaper in this country did not lead with Commander-in-Chief says okay for military to train in American cities is again malpractice. And then, of course, Pete Hegseth and his display, which was there were so many things basically saying, yeah, we're going to war crime, that we're going to do that. Women,
no fatty.
Yeah, the fat generals. No, sorry, you guys. And no women in combat. Fuck you guys. If you don't like it, too bad. Coming from a National Guard major, that's all I'm gonna say.
I read a few counts that the generals apparently privately are calling them fat man and little boy.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's the rumor. Allegedly.
Listen, I wouldn't doubt that because the men and women, very few women in that room, but the men and women in that room have dedicated their entire lives to service in this country. They're the best of the best.
And it's so difficult to be promoted that many times and to be doing that still in your life. Like, it takes stamina as a human being, not to mention exceptionalism within your ranks. Like, I mean, it's just, I mean, I've watched it in my own life with people close to me. It's a very difficult thing, especially if you're a woman. And then mind you look out
10 times more difficult.
Right. You look out in the crowd, there's like a handful of black men and like maybe 2 women. I don't there might have been more than that, but I was like, I don't see very many.
And but according to Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, the minorities and the women were only there because of DEI, because apparently only white men.
You know what? We should play. Mallory put together a great video here about Pete Hegseth.
And the warrior ethos.
The warrior ethos. Mallory is an Army wife, and she knows all this very close up in her life, and I think close to her heart. So let's play that really quick.
For every designated combat arms position returns to the highest male standard only.
Listen, who's going to win this battle with the lumberjack? That's something.
Pete Hegseth still has a lot to learn.
He asked for it to be modified into more of a makeup studio.
Secretary of War can do regular hard PT. So can every member of our joint force. With females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men.
In the special ops community, there's a saying, run to the sound of the guns. That's what I've done my entire life.
You did the challenge in what time?
If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it.
When I flew my combat mission, there was not a set male standard and a female standard. You can either do it or you can't.
You made a choice to serve when others did not.
Trump administration, a draft-dodging coward.
For too long, we've promoted too many uniformed leaders for the wrong reasons.
He'll be the most spectacularly unqualified person ever nominated and ever confirmed.
Foolish and reckless political leaders set the wrong compass headed, removing the distractions. We have to say with our mouths what we see with our eyes.
Zero experience, virtually zero qualifications or credentials for this job.
Underneath the woke garbage is a deeper problem.
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk.
Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high.
This guy should be fired. He should have been fucking fired the first time.
Because the politicians who created this mess are not going to be the ones who fix it.
Shout out to Amy McGrath and Kate Conley, two extraordinary women who served in combat in the military. And when Mallory said that she wanted to do this, I said, make sure you include them. And it was like, because it's the first thing I thought of was like all of these badass women that have excelled in the military. They represent the best of us. And a lot of them would not have been able to serve. I mean, what's her name? Joni Ernst wouldn't have been able to serve.
No.
Right? Joni Ernst, who could have stopped this bastard from becoming the Secretary of Defense, but was too chicken shit to do it, and then decided to retire anyway. Like people like that, like, what are you guys doing? The cognitive dissonance is just insane.
It's wild.
It's like these guys are going to lecture generals and women in the military about standards, a silver spoon draft dodger and a credibly accused drunk sexual assault.
Who was flagged by his fellow National Guards people for having white nationalist tattoos on his body and was banned from serving in Washington, D.C. after January 6th around the inauguration. Like, he was banned.
Yes.
And now he's on stage bossing generals around. Like, you have got to be kidding me.
I know. It's unbelievable. And yeah. And did we play the Madeline Dean confrontation?
Let's play it now.
Let's play this now.
The Madeline Dean cornered Mike Johnson in the Capitol building and
after this spectacle.
Yeah, after this spectacle with a mic on.
The president is unhinged. He is unwell. What are you doing?
A lot of folks on your side are too. I don't control.
Oh my God, please. That performance in front of the generals,
I didn't see it.
is so dangerous.
Liar.
You know I serve on foreign affairs and appropriations. This is a collision of those two things. Our allies are looking elsewhere. Our enemies are laughing.
I just left
you
the
have a
speaker's
president
side.
who is you have a president who is unwell.
That's exactly right. And you know what? What people were glossing over, I think I tweeted this. I was like, so Mike Johnson is acknowledging then that Donald Trump is unhinged and unwell, because he said people on your side also.
Right.
There are people on your side too. That means I agree. And then there's yours too. In addition to. Okay.
Yep. And he's like, oh, I didn't see it. He always does that.
Oh, he's
always
like,
oh, I can't speak to that because I wasn't watching.
They're such liars.
Right. I was like, stop lying.
I know.
Bullshit.
And
so, right. And he's like, I didn't see it. I was like, oh, no, I didn't know that Grindr was on my phone. Sorry.
Right.
Like, you know, like, I can't.
How'd that get there?
How'd that get there? Oh my God, that's my face.
Or something else.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Anyway.
Oh, allegedly, yes. But good for her for doing that. More members should confront them. And you know what? More members should go in front of cameras, or every time that they have those opportunities in front of the cameras, and call them out. Put them on the defense. I keep saying this. Offense wins elections.
And you know, I wanted to play something else that our friends over at The Daily Show put together. It's just a minute long about this. And it's just, I could use the levity, but it also makes a very good point about the cities and declaring war on our cities, because it's just.
Do you want to play that before or after Stephen Miller?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your great-grandfather fought Hitler. Your grandfather fought the communists. And now you'll be called upon to take on America's greatest enemy, Portland. If you're a tough young man with 0% body fat, the U.S. Army wants to shave you clean. Then we'll fly you to hostile lands like New York and Chicago, where you'll defend America from people who make fun of our president. Your pappy fought German panzers. You'll fight this guy, that lady who won't move her car, and anyone with a nose ring. When history calls, you will send it to voicemail because you're shaving. While you wait for Antifa, you'll keep busy by picking up trash. Then clear out a homeless camp. Another homeless camp, and then clear out the first one again. Then a quick cleanup shave and back to your post. Wait, did you get your neck? Quick shave and we're back. Do you have what it takes to defeat hordes of demonic agents of chaos? Then join the Department of War today. Strength, honor, integrity, no fatties. Because we want you. Shave that man!
Oh my God, that's so great. Those guys are great. I mean,
it wasn't Matt and Ryan. I texted them and asked, but you know,
well, they have a great team regardless over there. They're just so
Mm-hmm.
clever, and it points out the satire, points out the absurdity, of what happened on Tuesday. But unfortunately, there is a very serious side to this because they are planning to militarize more cities, including Chicago, and they've already gone into. They tried. And then they had to back off, and then they sent ICE in again, and now they're gonna put troops in Chicago. It's coming, but they sent out their little Voldemort to go down to Memphis, and I would like someone to tell me the last time the Secretary of Defense was in an American city, standing next to the Attorney General and a deputy chief of staff to talk about unleashing the military and police officers on
that's the thing, like
American citizens.
That visual should give the American people an idea about who is running the country.
We're about to give it to them right now.
Exactly. These are the people who are propping up Weekend at Bernie's, Donald Trump, in order to get through their maniacal, mustachy man dreams. And here's Stephen Miller. This is in Memphis just the other night.
Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all of government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have.
Department of War?
And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis. This is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished.
Why does he sound like the lunch lady monitor, like yelling at everyone? Like, I'm serious. Like, his tone is just so, like it's scary because he's in charge, but also I'm like, you're such a loser.
That's why he's such a loser and has been his entire life. This guy has been like this since he was at least 12 or 13 years old. It's documented. He's a horrible person. And he's now, again, living out his dreams because he was such a loser. And now he's a loser with power. He's like the 5'1" cop that got made fun of in high school, and now he came back and he's a cop in town, and he's got his badge and his gun, and you're not gonna step on me
and
anymore.
Also, like, and he knows he can never run for office and win, because listen to him.
Oh, I know.
He's revolting to look at. He's revolting to listen to. He's also has revolting ideology that is horrendous.
Yeah, he's a modern day Nazi.
He is. I mean, and Mark Maron makes jokes about this. Mark Maron, who's a Jewish, comedian, and he's like, well, they finally found a Jewish Nazi.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Pretty much.
And and to that point, Jesse Waters specifically on Fox is really trying to soften his image.
Soften Stephen Miller's image or his own?
Well, Stephen Miller's. So here's 2 clips, okay, in succession chronologically how these happened. Okay. Here's the first one, and Eamon played this. This was like a while back. I think this was in like late 2024.
We're getting a lot of texts from women about Miller and his appearances and his appearance. Our audience at primetime believes you're some sort of sexual matador. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm married now. I have children, but I wasn't married that long ago. I was single. I was in the market. If you're a young man, it's very important in election season, who's looking to impress ladies, to be the alpha, to be attractive. The best thing you can do is to wear your Trump support on your sleeve. Show that you are a real man. Show that you are not a beta, right? Be a proud and loud Trump supporter, and your dating life will be fantastic.
Okay, so now I'm going to play. Jesse Waters just had his wife, Katie Miller, who they're also trying to soften.
That's why
to try to make him more palatable.
I can't. I'm going to throw up.
You are married to Stephen Miller, so you are the envy of all women. What is that like?
Matador, right?
Did you hear? Hold on. Yeah. Sorry, it's like a little quiet.
What is that like?
The sexual matador, right?
What is it like being married to such a sexual matador?
He is an incredibly inspiring man who gets me going in the morning with his speeches being like, let's start the day. I am going to defeat the left and we are going to win. He wakes up the day ready to carry out the mission that President Trump was elected to do.
I think
what?
These people are sick.
Sick.
It's giving major commander vibes.
100%.
I mean, it's Gilead.
Yes. And there is, I actually saw an interview. It was written down, but someone had asked her or said to her, like, listen, you'll care more about the kids in cages once you have kids. And then she had kids and she's like, and I still don't care. So like, I don't.
Hitler had Eva Braun.
I know.
I mean, there's horrible women out there too.
Oh.
So she's a traitor. She's a traitor to our gender.
If there's anything that I know I've talked about this on our other shows and stuff, there's been inflection points, at least for me, in the last 10 years that have been extremely revealing just in my personal life. The first Trump election was one of them.
Yeah.
COVID was another one. Just the callousness and cruelty and lack of empathy for any other human being and their life. And then has been Charlie Kirk. And when I went through my Instagram to see who I know in my personal life, who was like unironically following him and Erica Kirk, and they were all white women that I know, that I was like, I'm sorry, what? And these are white women who are just like, oh, I don't really pay attention, or politics really aren't important to me. Well, really? Because why are you following TPUSA people then?
Yep. That's how we got here.
And I feel stupid. And I mean, I'm extremely cynical about these kinds of things. And I was like, I know that white women are a problem, but like, wow, as much as I knew, I guess I didn't really know.
Yeah. I think, well, my mom jokes because my mom is a white woman. And so whenever we talk about these things, my mom is like, not me, not this white woman. And I'm like, no.
Thank God. I mean,
I know. Thank God. I mean, there's,
yeah, but even as a white woman, it's just like as much as we think that we are not ignorant to things, we are still. Like we always have, because lived experience, we're ignorant to things just because how could we not be? And so when you know better and you do better.
The suffragist movement suffered the same thing. Right? Look at the black women that had to contend with the white women who were like, wait your turn. And the black women were like, fuck off. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
And that was a big part. Again, I will suggest Suffs is going on a national tour. If it comes to a town near you, please go see Suffs. It is one of the best musicals I've ever seen. It's so poignant now, the moment we're in, especially since Kamala lost. But it's really, I mean, it talks about that, the latter half of the suffragist movement. Because there was that tension, and the fact that they included that, because sometimes people like to whitewash, right? They like to whitewash that was a thing between the white women suffragists and the black women suffragists. And so one of my heroes, Ida B. Wells, said, I'm not marching in the back with everybody else just because you guys are you think you're so close to getting Woodrow Wilson to agree to give women the right to vote. It's going to be all of us or none of us. And she was right. And she did not march in the back. Now, this still did take several decades for black women to have equal voting rights in this country, but that was a thing. So this has gone on for a long time. It's a tough dynamic. It's a tough dynamic.
Listen, if you have a chance, go watch. Ken Burns was a guest on Tim Miller's Bulwark podcast this week, and they have a conversation about the Civil War and how, forget who the quote was from, whoever, was it Churchill? The winners write history. I'm just saying, no.
Oh, they used a quote from someone about the Civil War.
Well, he was using the quote that history is written by the winners.
Right.
I forget who said it. And maybe whatever, it doesn't matter. But he said, but in that case, I don't know that that's always true, because the history of the Civil War was written by the winners, but that's not the truth, because the truth is that the South won the Civil War. And I was like, I'm like, he's not wrong. Because look at all the things that they were able to accomplish.
Right.
Long term.
Yes. Partially because of the lost cause efforts years later, partially because of a president that you had in, was it 1876, that tried to that cut Reconstruction short, that there was a backlash to the civil rights amendments, the slavery amendments, 14th, 15th, 16th Amendment, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments. There was a backlash, and that's what laid the foundation for Jim Crow, for 100 years of terrorizing people of color after we just fought a war.
Yeah. And the 13th Amendment, I mean, go watch that documentary, Ava DuVernay's, there's things ignorant to, had no idea.
Well, our vice president thinks that, no. It was Charlie Kirk who said that they just have a holiday in the summer now to racially complain.
Yep.
It's talking about Juneteenth. Yeah. So, but we are not going to end the show on a negative note. We are ending the shows on bright notes, bright spots. So this week, Michelle, you have picked a bright spot.
I have. There's a wonderful comedian that I just learned about today. His name is, and I'm probably butchering this, David Nihill, Nihill. He's from Ireland, and it came across my feed, and it's a great story about these women from Ireland who worked in a grocery store, who had a little idea and made a big difference. So I just want to play this.
41 years ago, we had 10 white ladies who worked in a grocery store, and they said, we refuse to sell grapefruits imported from South Africa anymore in this grocery store, and by doing that, we're going to help end apartheid. Who's with us? And the whole of Ireland went, we don't really like grapefruits, to be honest. More of a luxury product. And I don't know if you've looked outside, but we don't have any black people either. So best of luck with that strategy. To be honest, not a whole lot of people support them. You remember 1 or 2 politicians, but for the most part, the police were against them. The trade unions were against them. Dunnes Stores, the grocery store they worked in, was against them. And just a lot of the country. And they were delighted one day when this black fella called Nimrod showed up, and they were like, oh, must be working. I've never seen a black guy before, and there's one out there right now. So we're having an impact. These ladies had never met a black person before, despite protesting on behalf of their rights. And this guy, Nimrod, said to them, ladies, what you're doing is so potentially impactful. I can't even really properly vocalize it, so I'm just going to stand with you every single day in solidarity until people pay attention. And he stood with them every single day for 6 months, walking 3 miles each way to get there with the ladies. And no one paid much attention at all, to be honest, until it made its way to a rather interesting man, Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Yeah. on his way to pick up his Nobel Peace Prize, was like, I got to meet the grapefruit ladies. And he did. He flew them over to meet with him in London. And because of that, a rather interesting guy in America got wind of it. And he said, I've never heard of a bunch of white people protesting something that affects them so little. This is fantastic. I have to march with these grapefruit ladies. That was Reverend Jesse Jackson, and he did march with the grapefruit ladies. That was enough to get the attention of a guy on his long walk to freedom on Robben Island, South Africa. And he said, once in a while, you hear other people fighting on behalf of you, and it just really inspires you to keep going. I have to meet with these grapefruit ladies. That was Nelson Mandela. And in 1990, he flew to Ireland to meet with the grapefruit ladies. And by that stage, the Irish government had given in, the trade unions gave in, the grocery store, done stores gave in, and Ireland became the first country in the Western world to ban the import and sale of all goods from South Africa, thereby helping end apartheid with a fruit that we don't feckin' like. For me, it's a lovely bit of history that all too often gets forgotten. But Nelson Mandela never forgot. When he passed away, he made sure that the ladies were invited guests of honor at his funeral should they wish to attend. And they did attend in a free South Africa that they helped create. And it was only around that time Nimrod, the one black guy who showed up to the protest in Dublin, got round to telling them who he actually was. He'd been Nelson Mandela's cellmate on Robben Island. Oh, yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew Irish people liked speaking up for other oppressed groups. He knew we loved the hip-hop, thought we were a little bit black. And I tell you that story because the leader of those 10 white ladies was called Karen, so you never know.
How great is that? Great. That is great. And so, one of our loyal watchers in the chat, her husband is Irish, and she said it's pronounced Niall.
Okay, well, there we go. Great.
Yes, everything rosy.
Niall.
We appreciate you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
I love Ireland. Those are your people.
The land of my people.
We got to get you over there. My husband and I had a chance to visit Ireland in 2023, and we flew into Dublin, and we spent a couple days in Ireland to drive out to the Cliffs of Moher in County Clare, and it was about a 3-hour drive, so we could experience that, which is just absolutely beautiful. We got a legit Irish rainbow a couple times. That was just, it was like out of a movie. The best fish and chips we've ever had in our lives. We're big fish and chips people. Between there and London, the fish and chips, it was just, I don't know who.
I've heard it. It's like unreal.
It's spectacular.
Like Irish people don't really have really good food, but like that's one thing.
That and the whiskey, but because the Cliffs of Moher, you're right. Yes, you're right there by the sea. So it's fresh fish caught right there. And oh my God, we're by the Aryan Islands, and it was just unbelievable. That's where I brought you back the headband from.
I know, which I keep in the top drawer of the dresser by my front
made out of that nice wool,
so I can always throw it on. And I was supposed to go to Ireland actually in 2020, but then obviously there was a pandemic. My friend Bly was getting married in Galway. We were all supposed to go.
That's right over the Gulf there by the Cliffs of Moher. You can kind of go when you're driving from Dublin, you can kind of go like this way or that way, and Galway is over here.
I was very excited. But unfortunately,
you gotta go. You guys have to go. It's cheap to fly to Dublin now. And the crazy thing is that when we were driving back to Dublin, because we were on our way to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, so we were heading to Italy, to Sicily again in 2023. But we made the stop there because my husband loves fish and chips, and he'd been to Ireland for work before.
Right.
And he kept telling me, because we had fish and chips in London at Mayfair or something, I forget what it's called, near Hyde Park, the best fish and chips ever, until I went to Ireland. And he's like, no, you got to go to Ireland. Okay, so we were able to work it out so that we could do that. And on our way back, driving from the Cliffs of Moher, we're on the highway. We stop at a rest stop to get gas. And I'm looking around. I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I surrounded by Barack Obama photographs? There's a huge statue of Barack and Michelle Obama at this rest stop off the highway on the way to Dublin in honor of his great grandfather's second cousin or whatever. He's got some kind of roots ties to Ireland. So when he went to visit
on
there,
his mom's side,
on his mom's side, and they dedicated this whole thing. So there were these huge life-size, wall-size photographs of Barack Obama visiting there with the prime minister, the whole thing. It was we had no idea. We pulled off not knowing. And
amazing.
oh, okay. Yeah. So
I love that. And Joe Biden, obviously, too. I mean, I have
one of the greatest.
Coming out to the shipping off to Boston when he came out with, at the church that his like great grandfather had built with his hands, or it's just amazing.
Yeah, it was. And so shout out to the Irish.
Yeah, seriously. My friend told me, it's like going to Ireland is like walking down the street and seeing a bunch of people who look like you. Now he's blonde, so obviously there's two. I mean,
I'll fit right in then.
Yeah. There's like there's these Irish people, and then there's the blonde Irish people.
Yeah,
I'm this one,
but they also don't let you go to Northern Ireland if you rent a car.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You have to like sign a waiver that says you're not going to Northern Ireland. I was like, no, we're not going there. We're going to the Cliffs of Moher.
Yeah,
so we can experience that, which was incredible. So
yeah,
shout out to Ireland.
My great grandfather famously on, I think, one of the census, when you have to say what country you were born in, wrote "Free Ireland."
Yes.
They've like. Listen, the Irish have been through a lot. And if you want to look into what civil conflict looks like in modern day, read about the Troubles in Ireland and what went on there for decades. I fear sometimes for that to happen here. But,
unleashing the police and the military on American citizens is not going to end well.
Yeah.
It's not going to end well. So we're trying to bring attention to it.
The non-Mediterranean diet. Cured meats, fried fish, potatoes.
And great whiskey.
And great whiskey.
All right, guys. We will see you next week for the steaks. We'll see you Saturday for coffee and conversation over at Mayday with our other gals. And keep sending us on social media. If you don't follow us, follow us. Send us your bright spots. Because if we see it, we might be able to feature one. We want to see it.
We need it.
Yes. Yes. Even if we don't
like it for my mental health, I would love to see some good news.
Yes.
So please
Bring it on. The more the merrier. My bright spot is my hummingbirds are still here. They're going to get ready to go soon. I just saw every morning I wake up, I'm like, Hannah, Harper, are you guys still here? They're still here, but it's getting a little chilly now at night. So I think they're pretty much, I think they're going to go soon. I did see them this evening. So they're still here. I don't know if they'll be here tomorrow, but those are my bright spots as long as my hummers are around. So. All right, guys, we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Be safe. Oops, let me hit. Oh, bye. Bye for real. Bye for real.
Bye for real.